Hello everybody and welcome to G4G on YouTube. Today we are in Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm playing the Steam version on the PC and I am always Napalm Dawn. So here you can see the title screen to the game with Drax, Star-Lord, Rocket, Groot, and Gamora over there in the window of the Milano, sort of looking like a Bebop-esque thing. Interesting. Huh, cool. Groot drinks straight out of a water pitcher. That's funny. Interestingly enough, these are not actually the outfits I'm using for these characters, so I don't know if I would call that a bug so much as, okay, they just decided to render this one way and one way only. If you are playing on Steam, some people exhibited a bug where they would go into their settings or they would see their joystick prompts if they were using a joystick on the PC, and they kept getting switch controls. This does not seem to be the case for me. As we can see over here, this is correct. This is an Xbox controller related setup. We think possibly it was patched. There is a setting in Steam that if you have this issue, post down in the comments below. I will let you know the fix, but I think it's actually been patched out, as from the moment I launched the game, I did not have the Nintendo Switch issue. Some people were getting confused because on the Switch, where the Xbox A is actually moved to where the Xbox B is. That's what the Switch calls the A button. So some people were getting told to hit A to like proceed. So they're hitting their Xbox A, and in all honesty, really what it was is the Switch A. You have a lot of settings you can play with here, including the axis only when you're in a ship. I would probably recommend this because when you do pilot the Milano and you go up and the ship goes up and you go down, the ship goes down, it is a little weird if you've ever played any flight sims at any point in your past. I was a huge fan of Starlancer, Free Space, and Descent Free Space 1 and 2, and Freelancer way back in the late 90s and early 2000s. I used, I think it was a Gravis pad. I've not been able to find any pictures of this pad that I used to have, but it was a joystick with a throttle right around where modern controllers have triggers and bumpers. It had a throttle over there, and it was so good in those games. I mean, it was really good for a game like Road Rash, but it was really good for flight sims because you could set your speed easy. But I mean, everybody just hit the match speed anyway. So you can get into some display options, including going exclusive full screen or full screen and windowed. Exclusive full screen says trying to tab out and switch applications is a little tougher. You have resolution, you have refresh rate, you have VSync, and if you have a high enough card, this game makes use of RTX shading. My Square Enix account is already logged in. You have some audio options, including if you go to the advanced audio settings, you can set your home theater, headphones, soundbar, things like that, and you can turn off licensed audio. The reason why that is there is because if you were to stream this, there are actual legitimate songs on this soundtrack akin to the Guardians movies with the mixtape. So you might get yourself a little bit of a pop there. I have a game active, but I'm going to go to new game because I want you guys to see the intro sequence, and you have different Doom-esque levels of hurt me daddy, hurt me plenty, all this. So we got this probably, we don't got this, and we do it our way, which allows you to set things the way you want, including auto wins in huddles, lowering the cost of your elemental shots, decreasing the damage you receive, increasing shield regeneration, death timers, sort of like Borderlands, and overall difficulty level, custom settings, etc., etc. So you can fine-tune it to be what you want. Right now I'm playing on We Got This, probably. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. So I'll select that, I'll overwrite it. We got this probably. Next, shows you this. This intro sequence is honestly amazing. There's so much nostalgia in this sequence over here, and I'm going to quiet myself once the actual events talk, or the events and the talking starts, and I will definitely come back when we start walking around the room. This part over here we can talk about. So the grass kind of has this weird pop in. If you look really closely at the grass, you see how it's sort of like somebody just spreads nuclear miracle grow on it. I don't really know what this bug is, but it's not wind, because it's not like all the grass goes in a direction at the same time. It's just like chunks of it. Alright, so nothing has started yet. This is all the Star-Lord music, so this is actually what you would be getting if you were to do the unlicensed audio. And you can flip this around, you can look at it like this. So I pretty much had that clock at one point in time as a kid. Cassette jackets were the absolute shit back in the day. A lot of them had lyrics or band pictures. And then you can put it down. You can look around a little bit. You know, there's the wankin' tissues. Don't see any wankin' lotion, though. So we'll take a look around this room in just a bit, and then you can open the magazine. It kind of looks like Bon Jovi back in the 80s there with the guitar, but it's not. And here we go, so I'll just shut up for a little bit.
No wonder you couldn't hear me. Is that your new tape? Star-Lord. Who's the guy with the scary eyes?
He doesn't have a name. He's one of the Space Riders. And he's not scary. He's cool.
Your space rider certainly got his hands full. Pretty far out.
Nobody says far out anymore, Ma. Ma!
What?
Nobody says far out anymore.
Oh, well, your mom does. Maybe we should see if we could get tickets to see them live.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Your mom may not look it, but I was quite the rocker when I was your age. Your father and I would just lie on the hood of my old Chevy and listen to Black Sabbath and...
You like Black Sabbath?
Like I said, your mom's cooler than you think. Oh, we'd look up at the stars and he'd tell me all about the places he'd been.
Mom?
How about some cake, huh?
Yeah, I'll be up in a sec.
You said that 15 minutes ago. If you don't hurry, I'm gonna eat that whole cake myself.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
You wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
Hey, watch the hair.
Oh! Peter! We've talked about you leaving your toys on the floor.
It's not a toy. It's an action figure.
More like an action landmine. Stab your foot. I will.
He doesn't even... Never mind.
13 whole years. Look at you. Where does time go?
I'll be up in a sec. I promise.
Right.
So I gotta admit, that is kind of a cool mom. If you notice the long-ass 80s denim acid wash jeans, yep, definitely had quite a few pairs of those growing up. The mom kind of reminds me of a less porn-looking porn star from that time by the name of Ginger Lynn. So you get to walk around the room.
Can't believe I caught
Steve
this.
Harris
That
from
Maiden show
Iron
was
Maiden.
Awesome.
At first I thought it was like a pack of a wax pack of firecrackers, and I realized it's actually a sweatband. But that's Steve Harris from Iron Maiden. Tron, which
I'd love to be able to ride one of those light cycles.
God, I mean, just the sequence hit me with so much nostalgia. I mean, I love the modern Tron, but the classic Tron is really good. Here's what Star-Lord as a kid looks like. Oh, I didn't know about the... I didn't notice the bloody, or the black eye last time. Huh. Interesting. I don't know if they talked about that, but, definitely had a denim jacket like this. I did not, however, have the sleeves cut off. And if we get into some light over here, you'll notice right here these pins that he has. That pin... Well, I notice now one of them is actually a Space Invaders pin. But this top one with the black, that is a portion of records. 45 Records used to have that spacer in the center of them. Not all of them did, but I think most of the coolest 45 Records had that little plastic spacer in there. I just thought that was a really nice touch on their part. Rubik's
Might as well
Cube.
just peel the stickers off and put them in the right spot.
And you can rotate these things as you're looking at them. This is basically...
The movie was okay. The soundtrack really kicked butt.
This doesn't really have a correlation to reality. It looks like War Games, but War Games didn't really have, with Matthew Broderick, it didn't really have a kick-ass soundtrack or anything. Not too sure I recognize that girl. This is awful, by the way, I gotta warn you. Oh. It's actually better
Need to
than...
build up my calluses.
He was a little bit better than the first time I tried it in my other save. Helheim's Coils I don't recognize. Fur Things.
It's pretty crazy that all that destruction started from one little mistake.
I think that is very, very close to a mouth of a creature from an 80s film called Critters. I'd have to check it out, but I think Critters had teeth. And the circular rows like that. Caves and Creatures, obviously Dungeons and Dragons.
3 natural ones in a row last game? Some barn I turned out to be.
Oh, I didn't notice
Gotta
this.
beat Janie's high score. This is embarrassing.
That is a legit ColecoVision. That is really cool. I didn't notice that last time. And see, okay, so the big port is the Coleco cartridges. The small port above it, it's a nice touch they have that. That's where the Atari adapter went. You could actually get a little device and plug into the ColecoVision that allowed you to play Atari cartridges.
This will be worth hundreds of dollars someday.
Star-Lord comic. And then, yeah, that's the stuff right there. Samantha fucking Fox. Oh my god. That was, if you were a kid in the 80s, her music video for Good Girls or something, Bad Girls or something, she did a little bit of light porn. But, yeah, that, Samantha Fox was basically puberty in a bucket back then.
Man, I can't wait to play this. Maybe I can convince Annie to buy it with his paper out money.
So I guess that's like a Nintendo Power magazine. I'm actually seeing stuff that I missed the first time.
Oh man, traveling through space must be amazing.
The Lost Star
The final battle
Walker.
was awesome. Looked like the heroes were done for, but they pulled it off.
that bears a lot of resemblances to The Last Starfighter, which was a great film. Enemy Mine was a great film back then. 80s had a lot of good space sci-fi flicks in it. Alright, so that's the very initial sequence over here. And the next thing that we're going to get into is the ship.
Peter Quill, wake up.
Holy crap, Drax. You gotta stop doing this, man. It's weird.
You're approaching the quarantine zone.
How long was I out for?
15,338 ticks.
That's very specific.
The Betrayer is ready to begin her mission. She has requested your presence in the cockpit.
Gamora's on our side, Drax.
She is the spawn of my sworn enemy, a murderess and a traitor. I do not trust her.
Well, try. We're supposed to be a team.
I may...
family, which, now that I'm hearing it, would make Yondu my...
Space Dad?
Could have been worse.
I'm gonna go ahead and end this just for now,
Mind if we
just
put
to
a pin
speed
in
things
this?
up.
A pin?
Pick it up another time? I should, get back.
Sure.
There is a certain amount of like Valley Girl to Gamora that scene shows that I haven't quite picked up on. God. That I haven't picked up on yet. That's actually cool to have seen that. I'm glad I got to share that with you guys as a first time. So, similar to the Hellcarrier in Marvel's Avengers, each of these rooms is somebody
Rocket
else.
finally cleaned up the fur balls.
You're welcome.
Oh,
Why does this thing look so sinister?
Hey,
I
who said
found
you
that.
could
That's
touch that?
weird. I found this on the mission that I was on in my primary save. Huh.
I don't go into your room and touch your stuff, Quill.
What?
Okay.
You hacked my visor and added a scoreboard to it while I was sleeping.
That was
Yeah,
different.
this
I
is-
improved.
wow.
Also, did anyone tell you that you snore? I thought Drax was bad, but wow. Quill, you should really get that checked. You sound like a tourist.
Apparently, the things you
don't
find in one save
snore
set up interactions for
that
future
loud.
saves. What a nice
Yeah,
feature.
okay.
So what is this thing anyway? Kind of looks like a metal face hugger.
That is clearly a spinal control unit.
Yes, right, of course.
Yes,
the
cool.
Spinal
Yes,
control
spinal
thingy.
thing.
Back on Half-World, Kree scientists used these to keep us super soldiers in line. They'd press a big, fun red button and zap! Instant obedience.
Holy crap. Rocket.
Alright, so I'm going to
Sorry.
end for now, just
I'll give you some space.
so I could do some other things over here before the video gets too long. I totally had no idea this was going to happen. So you're in the Milano for this, and you get to know the characters. Also, you have outfits, at least the version that I got. So there's the blue and gold bellhop uniform, the Marvel Avengers Alliance one, which is the one that I'm using in my primary save, the red and blue and gold bellhop uniform. This one saying it's from 2021. I don't think I've seen this outfit for Star-Lord yet. This one with a cool Milano looking jacket. Supposedly this one popped up in 2020. And then Social Lord, which looks a lot like the other one, but is slightly different. And this one came out in 2017. I haven't found that menu yet. Okay, that was interesting. Gamora. My Gamora's got the stock skin. And then the Galaxy one. So this one was in Marvel Avengers Alliance. It's also in Future Fight, where the stars on the pants kind of move around and shift. Apparently, a lot of cutscenes have an issue with this cloak. When you are playing through the game and you get to the sequence where you have all of the Guardians with you and they go down, it is a scripted moment for them to get hurt enough to quote-unquote die. Star-Lord does a thing called a huddle where he brings everybody in, he gives them a pep talk or a let's focus talk depending on what's happening, and Gamora's cloak in that scene was really bad. Here is Drax as Thanos Imperative from 2010. I'm using the standard Drax skin. I'm not using this one. I don't like the weird Flash Gordon kind of Emperor Ming skull cap up there. Rocket has his normal outfit, and then this Stinger one from 2017. I'm using standard Rocket because this is just like Guardians of the Galaxy Vice City. Groot, I actually earned a Groot skin during the first mission, so this is the stock one, and it came with this one, which is the stock one without the armor pieces and everything. But then this one is one that I earned in the mission, and you can see how this one is actually from the movie. So his shoulders don't have the wood shoulder pads to it, and the face is a little bit more trimmed, so this gets closer to the Vin Diesel one. Overall, I think 4 out of the 5 characters do a really, really good job of not being particularly uncanny valley. I think Rocket Raccoon is the easiest one to swallow, followed by probably Gamora second, although the voice actress doesn't sound nearly as scary and intense as you would imagine Gamora to be. Star-Lord and Groot round up kind of the middle of the pack. Drax is probably the one that I think I have the biggest uncanny valley kind of thing going on there. At this distance, I'm a little bit more accepting of it. When it gets closer, the ripples under the skin sort of make him look like a burn victim. The raised areas there up on the pecs going to the shoulders just look a little bit weird, and just the way the tattoos are and the voice and the personality is probably, I think, the hardest one to accept out of accepting all of these guys as Guardians compared to the MCU. I don't think any of the pills are ridiculously bitter to swallow the way they were in Marvel's Avengers. See, there's Drax down there, kind of shadowboxing.
He's only been here.
This is Gamora's place, clearly. I did not find any collectibles in here. I think probably what happens is you find collectibles for the characters in the game, and then they get put into their quarters, and then it creates an interaction. This is probably Drax. Yeah, nothing was here.
Hey, come on, Gamora.
Come on, Door.
We all know
Door?
you like slicing through the squishy critters.
And a shower.
Not so sure about tooth cleaning tablets.
And
Manual
toothpaste
brushing is
powder.
where it's at.
So, and then the Milano opens up over here. There's that
There you
little...
are, Groot. Tell
crap.
Groot to stop worrying about getting arrested.
Yeah, so there's a window seat up there that you
I'm
can
not
take a look at.
overconfident. I'm just the right
And
level of
they are
confidence.
planning out the first mission over here, which I won't spoil. So, I think the game is tons of fun so far. It is a single-player game where you issue commands to the other Guardians when they are with you. You don't take direct control of them. You just like, hey Groot, do your root, and Rocket, do your AoE. Gamora, do your big slice. And they do different things, like some will augment the stagger meter, some are AoE. Groot's root is a form of crowd control, except it doesn't break very easily when you're hitting them. It actually lasts for how long you want to last. You get ability points that you can put into your characters. Right now I have one that it forces you to go into Peter Quill. I earned a second one, but all of the other Guardians, the way that it goes with them is that their abilities they have their original one as a default, and then the next ones all start as 2. I don't know if when I get 2 points, if it automatically forces me into Quill first or something, or maybe I can like start building up Drax if I wanted to. I'm guessing there's just going to be freedom to put the points where I want. And you can see there is a kit there. So Drax's one is mostly a stagger move, mild damage, mild cooldown, but then he has another one where he hits more targets, but the stagger and the damage go down. And then his final one, a lot of targets, really low stagger, but high damage and a high cooldown. So the game is single player. It's a lot of fun. It is not forced online all the time. So you can install it or download it, and you don't need a connection to play this game, unlike Marvel's Avengers. I would say to people like, okay, Napalm, you're saying you like the game and you've played a mission. Then again, did not everybody like Marvel's Avengers when they first got it? Because unless they were racist shitlords, people thought Kamala Khan was one of the best things the game could produce. That is true. During the Avengers Initiative, Kamala Khan, or Miss Marvel,
course.
was definitely a
I
high
suspected we might
point
go
of the
down
game.
without
Her
fights.
personality
Pulling
really
muscles,
makes
they
the
help better ain't gonna
whole
buy damaged goods.
I will
beginning
aim to
part
preserve
of
the
the
integrity
game
of the beast as
because
best I can.
she's
Good.
fun and lively. She bounces off Hulk well. She has fun interactions with her dad
Really needs to get these plants under control.
early on. You could say,
I
well,
use these for smuggling.
can't
Hopefully I
you
won't
say
ever have to smuggle
the same
myself
thing
in
about
there.
this game if you haven't played a lot of it? Maybe it's giving you those early game everything is fun vibes because the characters are good. I would say that's true, except for the people who have gotten further,
Peter Quill, we
including
must soon
people who
discuss
got
the
their
status of my official team membership badge.
their pre-orders super early because mail sent them out early. People like me who got digital copies got it on the day of the release. People with pre-orders got it several days ahead of time and could install it. Everybody's saying the game is great, and perhaps it is Square's apology to how badly they fucked up Marvel's Avengers. So, if you were on the fence of this game because of the failure of Marvel's
That is
Avengers,
not a prowess,
I think you're
simply
good
a
to go.
commission.
I have run into some bugs. Cloaks, I think, are going to bug a little bit. I also got semi-stuck for a brief few moments in between two environmental areas, and it was tough to boost out of it at first, but then I was able to. I was like, oh god, I'm gonna have to restart from a checkpoint. There was something that I needed to do where I had to restart from a checkpoint. I really quite don't remember what it was, but so far the game has been great, and the bugs have not been particularly bad. Also, the way these characters interact and the way they interact with Star-Lord is really good, and I don't think it is a hard pill to swallow these guys as quote-unquote Guardians of the Galaxy if you're so familiar with their MCU counterparts. I think Rocket is definitely one of the easiest jumps you can make. Gamora, if you know a little bit about Gamora outside of the movies, I think she is a very easy pill to swallow as being, you know, a pretty official Gamora in this game. Groot and Star-Lord are in the middle of the pack, and I think Drax is probably the one most people would find the most difficult to accept. So, there you go, guys. There's about the first 33 minutes of the game. I will be back covering the game in future videos as I get more experience with the missions and combat, and let you know how my initial review stands up. So, thanks for checking out the video, everybody, and have a good one.